If you've ever wanted to be part of a sales team, but the idea of having a monthly quota is the worst thing in the world to you, then you've tuned into the perfect episode of Rookie and the Closer, where I'm the rookie and my co host Maddie's the closer. And today we have a very special guest with us. He's a former hockey player and turned BDR, turned customer success manager. Andrew Kormos, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I know it's been a long trek to get me here. Dave reached out to me quite a while ago about joining the show, but that was in the middle of an engagement. So I'm happy that we finally found the time that I could join.
Let's go. Yeah, and congrats on the engagement, by the way.
Thank you. It was picture perfect weekend. So she had no
Let's
idea. Both of
go.
our parents were there, and it was unbelievable. Everything went according to plan, and I didn't drop the ring in the lake like everyone was scared about. So,
Love to hear it. Yeah, they don't. For anybody out there who's thinking about getting engaged, practice putting the ring box in your pants or whatever before, because that's exactly what happened to my husband. Is was like all ready to go, like had his khakis on, and I was like, "Something's up. Why are you wearing a polo?" And he was like, "I put the ring box in my pocket," and was like, this is so obvious. Like what? So you just have a loose ring that's like yeah. I do not envy the one who has to get on bended knee because I just got to. I went full Elaine Bennis and was like, get out of here! Like,
I tried to play it smartly just because I knew she had always mentioned to me that she wanted us to look nice and didn't want to be in like her sweatpants or something when I proposed. So I played it off that my grandmother wanted pictures of me, her, my sister, and her husband,
Let's
who
go.
was so that worked out well. And then yeah, the pants part, I just kept my hand in my pocket the whole time, like please don't notice that I'm trying obviously to cover something up in my pocket, but it worked out. So she actually starts to walk away in the video, like, oh, the picture's over, we're done, which is kind of sold it.
I love that. I should have known I was getting engaged because my best friend was there and she was covered in hives. And I was like,
God.
Uh,
it was
she
like,
was
that's
nervous.
so nervous because like we've been best friends since we're 13 years old. There's no secrets between us. And she had been like planning, like she's friends with my husband too from college. So yeah, it was. How did you propose, David?
We went on a trip to Tampa, and it's actually a funny story because I Demi is kind of like the kind of person that, the second we met, she was like, "When are we getting married? When are we having a baby?" So every one day in Demi time, this is what I like to say. Every one day in Demi time is like 5 days in normal people time. So we were on a 5 day vacation in Tampa during the Stanley Cup Finals that Tampa was in. And
Nice.
after the first night of the vacation, I didn't propose to her. I was planning to propose to her the second night at a like a fancy steakhouse that I made her make reservations to go to so she wouldn't think something was up. We got into a fight that morning because I didn't propose to her yet. And then I was just like, oh, like, I didn't want to bring the ring on the plane and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of scary, which is like, was one of my objections anyway. And then, yeah, we like, I called the restaurant beforehand, like, said when you bring out the dessert, if you could just, like, write, will you marry me on the plate and
Mm,
take pictures. And they even did, like, those, like, little, like, I don't know, like firework type, not like fireworks, but like,
flirters.
yeah, like whatever the heck it was. It was
Yeah.
nice. But yeah, it was just funny. She wasn't talking to me that morning. She was literally writing that stuff like on the phone through text because she was like, "I'm not talking to you. You haven't proposed to me."
Well, you'll be a successful couple because I have found that I communicate. I come up to my office and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. Like I can't say it. Like I'll be down in a little bit with my tail between my legs, but for right now,
It's like one of those that you kind of think about and go, oh, maybe I was wrong.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I apologize for my goldfish memory this morning. So I don't know how if that relates to Demi, where I was like, yeah, I can understand how it would be frustrating that I change my mind literally every single day. So that's fun for you, who's a planner and an engineer. Sorry. But I think that's important in sales too. You gotta have a short memory,
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta just
A
shake it
hundred
off.
percent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. I know David always likes to start with like, how you got into sales and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to shut up so that I don't just cheat forward to customer success because I had a similar path. But yeah, take us through. You graduate college. What the fuck do you do with your life? Or if you even
Pretty
did graduate college.
pretty much. No, yeah. So, like Dave mentioned, I was a hockey player and I played into college. My when I graduated my senior year, I had a couple options of either go back to Michigan and kind of figure everything out because I'm originally from Detroit and went to college in New Hampshire. If you can't tell from the big Lions helmet behind me, but I also want to
Yeah,
preface.
yeah. Nice.
Sorry, my apartment's an absolute mess because I'm on a trading card binge right now and I'm trying to organize and
Love
sell
it.
them all. So,
Oh, so
but
fun.
but yeah, so I had graduated. My girlfriend was my fiance girlfriend at the time was going
Yeah.
into doctorate school in New Hampshire. And I went home to Michigan for the summer and decided because of COVID, I was going to play another year of college hockey and get my master's because I had an extra year of eligibility. So I did that and had an amazing season for a not so great team and was actually working as a farmhand, like on a
Let's
farm
go.
doing, yeah, manual labor. And I got a phone call basically saying, hey, you're going to get a phone call from this professional coach. Like they might want you to play, they might not. I don't know what's going on. And 30 seconds later, I got the call from him and he's like, yep, we want you there. Antti Ranta in Carolina just got hurt, so they called up
Oh man.
Kochetkov from the AHL, and they called up one of our goalies. So can you be in Maine tomorrow for the game? I'm like, yep. So I had always kind of planned on trying to play professional hockey, but I was going to wait until summer to go back and train, and it was just kind of thrown on me. Well, life had different plans, and within my first week there, I blew out my knee. So it was my second knee surgery, um, and I kind of sat down and thought, because I went to college at 21, as hockey players do, and like I'm 26. Do I want to have this surgery, train the whole summer for a tryout? And I decided I was going to jump into the working world, and where in the world was I going to go? My fiance's mom had a college friend that owns a very small startup software company called Retrieve, which they're based out of Manchester, actually, New Hampshire. Um, they're kind of like a learning education platform sort of thing. So I was working for them doing everything under the moon as an independent contractor. I was doing QA. I did a little bit of sales. I did a little bit of customer success. Still didn't really know what I wanted to do, but because I was an independent contractor, I didn't get insurance through them. And going into what that would have been, when did I start at Foley? 2 years
I'm
ago, over two
impressed you're
years
even
ago.
trying because everyone's like, when was that? I'm like, I don't know.
I
How
think
old
that
am I?
was
I don't
I think that
fucking
was the end of 23. Yeah, I can't keep up anymore. But I was getting kicked off my parents' insurance January 1st, 2024.
We love a forcing function. Yeah.
Yep. So it was a panic, and I had someone say, "Hey, you played sports. You probably would be good at sales. Might as well try that." And found I think it was Indeed, one of the Indeed posts for Foley, spoke with Chris, and signed on there as a BDR to kind of start my real professional career. And but I feel like I'm talking for a long time. If you want me to keep
No,
going,
man,
any
it's like you told
questions?
me your
This is
whole
perfect.
entire life
Yeah, this
and
is
career
I
so
perfect.
could,
far
yes.
in 3.5 minutes. No big deal. No, I mean I think that a lot of what we talk about here too is like just sit at the beginning, like you just got to say yes. And like a lot of what I heard there, Andrew, is like this is my mantra, and I think I've said it before on the podcast, where it's like someone's gonna know someone that knows someone that needs someone just like me. And like
100%.
when I was a waitress in Vermont, I was like, someone's gonna know someone that needs someone just like me. I just gotta just Johnny Appleseed it. Just just say yes to interviews, say yes to job offers. Like my brother is looking for work right now. If anyone needs any help with AI strategy and execution, my brother's dirty. And he's like, should I consult? Do I want a full-time gig? Like he has such incredible experience. So like that's when you get to be choosy, when you've been working for 10 years and you have sweat equity. But when you're young, when you're starting out, it's like just say yes, just go. And like you'll figure it out. And like I think we'll get into a lot of this obviously, Andrew, but like you've clearly done a really good job of balancing. I'm gonna do a really fucking good job at the job I have now because that's the only way I'm gonna get to pick what job I want next.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't have the time or luxury to kind of sit back and pick and choose which job I wanted to. Foley was really, they were the second ones to offer me a position. The first one was selling life insurance, and I got a shady feeling from the guy, but that was what,
no
yeah,
offense,
that's what I'm saying. That one kind of scared
State
me.
Farm agency, you're like, no, unsubscribe. Like what?
Yeah, that one was I was not doing that, but I was living with my fiance's parents in a state away from my family, didn't have my own place yet, so it was kind of, it forced my hand a little bit, but I like to do research, and me and Chris hit it off, so
yeah.
When I researched the company and kind of researched sales, I thought it was going to be a great fit, especially, so now that
Sweet.
kind of felt like it changed a little bit when I got there, and
I mean, it's like a first date, it's like you're
yeah.
getting in an interview. So I think that's like another good thing is I want to hear about your interview. Because, obviously talking about sports, someone saying like, hey, I think you have potential to do this. A lot of it's like kind of like a vibe check. Like I was a waitress. And a bartender. I'd never done true sales. I didn't know anything about software. And I sat down for my first interview and the guy was like, I'd buy what you're selling. Like that's it. Like that was the interview.
100%. And I kind of, the interview was 3 different interviews. It was just kind of meeting with the recruiter, who was Diane at first. She then bumped me over to Chris, and that's where I kind of met Chris, and he just wanted to kind of see my personality. And then the third interview was really cool, which this was another part of the reason I was excited. It was basically create like a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Tell us about yourself. And I kind of looked at it as an opportunity. It's like, hey, like interviews are a chance to sell yourself, talk about yourself. And I feel like if you can sell yourself, I think that's one of the hardest things to do without coming off as cocky or arrogant, then you can kind of sell anything. And I looked at that as an opportunity, and that was really fun. I thought it was a really cool exercise. Granted, my interview experience before that was at pizzerias and life insurance agency and being a farmhand. So it was like, oh,
I almost said just make sure you have a clean shirt on, but maybe not so much for the last one. Maybe that doesn't happen.
Yeah. The farm, they didn't really care. That was it was actually a lot of fun working there. It was a haunted farm too, which was scary. But,
okay.
There was a few times you'd hear people talking and there was no one there.
Oh, I thought you meant it was like one of those themed things.
Oh no, it was legitimately haunted. It's been in Concord, New Hampshire, and that family's possession for like 7 generations.
What?
Even the lady who owns it says, yeah, my dad still walks around. If you smell cigar smoke, that's my dad. It was great. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, it's this kind of stuff until now I have to wait for the third one, but like my daughter, Ava, is obsessed with, she calls them ghostes. They're not ghosts, they're ghostes. So she's like, are ghostes real? And I'm like, no, babe, like ghostes are not real. In my head, I'm like, they're totally fucking real. And then I got on a meeting with a lady and she couldn't sign on. She's like, "I'm sorry, there's ghosts in my house." She was dead serious. She was like, "The ghosts mess with they love messing with my computer." Like, you can listen to this call in Gong, Andrew. Like, just search ghosts in Gong and you will find this lady
That's
talking about the ghosts
hilarious.
that take over
It
her computer.
that was somebody who you were trying to sell to was like, oh, there's ghosts in my house. That's
Yeah, she was like,
hilarious.
"Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. The ghosts just like take over my computer." And I was like, "I get
That is,
it." Like,
I,
oh my God. Yeah,
oh,
that's
that's
funny.
awesome. But
Ugh.
yeah, that interview process was kind of eye-opening to me, where I think like, hey, like I like selling myself. I think that's a good opportunity. I think I'm gonna like sales. Now, cold calling was a little bit of a different story.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Wait, David, did
as
you do the 30, 60, 90? Did you have a similar interview process?
It
Because
was
you
the
interviewed for
same
the same
thing.
job.
It was Diane first, then Chris, and like Chris's first interview was just completely a vibe check. Like we talked for like an hour and a half, and I think there was like one like standard interview question, and the rest was just like I'm gonna chat with this kid and think like so I could see if I would like to have him on my team like as a person or not. That's totally Chris. Was it like that for you too, Andrew?
yeah, 100%. It was just like I think we talked about hockey for 45 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. After like one interview question, he was like, "I love that you put professional hockey player on your resume." Like, even though I was only there for a week, I'm like, "Yeah, I got paid, so
Yeah, let's go.
Dude,
I
that's
signed a
another thing.
contract."
Yeah. Like, you say the words. Like, I have a girlfriend that I think I might have talked about this once too. Like, I have a girlfriend who she makes money on her YouTube cooking channel, and she won't say I'm a professional chef. And I'm like, "You get paid to cook. You're a professional chef. Like, just say
Yeah,
it." You
why
know?
not?
Yeah.
I mean, because there was somebody, I can't remember if it was, I think it was my mom, was like, "Don't put professional hockey player on your resume. Like, why would you put that on there? Companies don't care about that." And then when Chris brought
They
it up,
have to
I'm like,
care, yeah.
Huh.
haha, mom.
They
One
care a
Chris
lot,
cares.
Mom.
Chris cares more than anyone too. So it was like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that worked
possible.
out. That was a God thing for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny when he brought that up. But it was the training and everything at Foley was I was supported and kind of learning. Now, granted, did I ever see myself working in kind of like the trucking software industry? I know we're kind of moving away from that a little bit, but no, I didn't. I mean, if I look back on my knowledge that I have now compared to 3 years ago when I started, it's kind of insane what I know about DOT compliance and all the different things. But
Yeah, subject matter expertise is an interesting thing. Like, I think I asked you about that once, David. How important is it to have product knowledge versus how important is it to just have like the structure of like what it looks like to set up a cold call?
mhm,
You
Yeah.
know, and like I feel like it's like I've worked in software for a while, and like I'm honestly confident that I could go in and listen to like Abhinav said this, like listen to like 4 or 5 calls and be like, I can sell this.
Yeah.
Because like all
1,000%.
tell me more about that is like all you need to fucking say.
Yeah.
Like, and
Well,
then like
and
you're
as a
good.
BDR, you're really just selling time on the calendar, so it's all
Yeah.
just the same human psychology for any sector or space. I think, if anything, I would ask you, Maddie, like when it comes to being an AE, where you have to go into way more detail, typically, like, do you feel like you have to have way more product knowledge in that case?
I feel like you don't want to get caught on your back foot. Um, but like there's really what I have learned just in life in general is that until you have kind of a visceral moment, you don't remember stuff. So like I can read, I can watch videos, whatever, but until I get asked a question I don't know the answer to and feel that embarrassment and like get that my cheeks get warm and I'm like, oh, I got to get back to you, like then I'll remember.
Yeah.
And then the next time I get that same question, it's as if I've known for my entire I was born knowing this answer. So like and I think I didn't really realize that until maybe like my second or third job, because like when you're younger, you're like, oh no, I just need to like read, 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 read. Like I'm scared to make my first phone call until I know everything. And it's like having learned something and being able to retrieve it from your memory are two very different phenomenon.
Very true.
So I think that it's helpful, like again, specifically for like DOT compliance, or like I sold, software to help plumbers book more calls and get more freaking members. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can learn the software pretty quickly. I think that storytelling is like a hack. So like, oh, like, so it sounds like, you have this problem. Like I was just talking to a customer the other day, they had the exact same problem, and like this is how we solved it. I feel like that's an easier way to remember stuff, but also like don't be shy. Like I just told one of the reps on my team today, like I have a sheet that I made in Excel of like a CDL driver that drives over 26,001 pounds, and then like a DOT regulated non-CDL driver between 10,000 and it's like, what do they need in their driver file? And like,
Yeah.
I will never remember that you need to do safety performance history. I don't know why. I just don't remember it. Literally ever. And so if I don't bring that up, I won't remember to say like, well, how do you do your safety performance history? You know what I mean? So I think it's also like just slow down. Like it's such a power move to be like, let me think about that for a second. Like on a sales call, that's when you know you're doing a good job. And probably in customer success, like you get questions and you're like, you know what? I've never been asked that before. Like,
You'd
that
be
takes,
shocked how many times a day I get asked a question. I wouldn't say a day, but a week I get asked a question. I'm like, nobody's ever asked me that. I've been doing this for 2 years with the same product. Like,
yeah.
it's funny.
Feel good when you say that stuff too, I think.
It does. That's the part I love about it, is the relationship building. But it's funny that you talk about, or you guys were talking about product knowledge, because I was going to bring that up, because that was my biggest fear when I started as a BDR, because you have all the training and they want you on the phones like as quick as possible, calling people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, I need to know everything about this. I need to be prepared for anything and everything. And I was so overwhelmed my first week trying to learn, if you're between 10,000 pounds and 26,000 pounds, you need this. If you're below, you're what? Like, exactly.
What's intrastate? You're like,
exactly. Yeah. What's in a driver file? What does SAFER stand for? I don't know. And then I realized really quickly, at least in my experience as a BDR, that product knowledge is not everything. If you can talk...
It actually hurts you as a BDR, I think.
Yeah, I had found that the more I got into detail about the product and different things, the more I'd be having long conversations that go nowhere.
Yeah.
And it was like I wanted to know enough to be dangerous, but not enough that I'm over talking about it.
Yeah. I feel like you have to know enough to like have a little bit of swagger, but like you don't want to get into the details, because what I've found is if you are answering an unasked question, people get very turned off, and it gives them a reason to object. Like, oh, we do this really well, and they're like, well, I never wanted that anyway. And it's like, people don't like to be sold to. So like, David, what makes you say that you think it can hinder you as a BDR to have too much knowledge or get too deep in the weeds?
Almost like my strategy as a BDR is, if they ask me a question, and even towards the end of my stint at Foley, even if I had the answer, I would honestly just pretend I didn't know the answer and say, oh yeah, we'll talk about that with the specialist on the meeting. Do you have time next week?
Hell yeah.
So I like getting, and now that I like the company I'm at now, we sit in on every discovery call, and sometimes I've caught myself, because now I actually like know so much more, and I'm like, shit, I just ruined like a potential meeting because I started talking about the product too much, or like what we do, when I could have just gotten them into the meeting to talk about that. So I think like a lot of people get themselves into trouble if they know too much.
Well, and I like what you said there, where it's like less about getting yourself in trouble and more about holding stuff back. Like don't give without getting. So it's like, oh, you want pricing? Great, let's schedule a demo. You know what I mean? So it's like like if someone asks me for pricing, I make them schedule a call with me to go over the pricing together. I'm not emailing it to you. So if you never show up for that pricing conversation, you don't know what this costs. Period. So I think that's like a good thing. And like again, we're going to talk, Andrew, a little bit of how you pivoted from sales into success. I did something very similar. And I think that even if you're just selling retention, you know what I mean? Like you're just trying to sell them on staying on the platform and not looking at competitors. And, it's like if someone that you're a customer success manager for misses 1 or 2 meetings, it's because you're not providing value on those meetings. Like they have no reason to show up. So I feel like you got to come correct with like, something that they want.
100%, and especially in customer success, because it's all value, value, value. My job now is to kind of be, I say everything from a friend to a therapist sometimes for my clients. But if I'm not giving them value of what we can do, or they're not seeing the result, I'm not doing my job. So that's a huge thing. But I really liked what you said, where you don't want to give them something to object to. I think that's the perfect way to put it, and I've never really thought about that, but I feel like that's a lot of what I did. Keep it short, sweet, kind of intriguing, pique their interest, and let the AEs do their job. So, especially as a BDR, where I was trying to just book meetings, and there was a few times that I got messages. I remember one specifically from Iftikhar. He called me, and he's like, yeah, I just got off the meeting with this person. I was like, oh, how did it go? They're like, honestly, they said they're not interested in buying at all, but the BDR did such a good job that she couldn't say no. So I was like, all right, I did my job at least. So I got them in the door. But so that's such a cool way to look at it, I think, and I've never really put it that way.
Yeah, it's hard because especially in the enterprise space, like what it takes to implement the software. Like the first thing I ever sold, it was one call closes. And it was $49 a month. No one's going to go out of business for buying this. I was like, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or Discover. Like, you sign up for fucking what? Like, get out. If you in enterprise, you got to kind of thread the needle a little bit. And like, I'm interested to hear your perspective too, Andrew, on like, the difference between like, oh, you guys didn't really talk a lot in the sales process about the details. It's a really fine balance because you don't want to answer an unasked question. You want to be like, hey, so I know you're ready to sign the contract, but like, how hard data import's going to be, right? It's like, you're not going to like sell yourself out of a deal. But like, you certainly don't want a freaking clawback. You don't want someone to cancel 3 months in and then you are like, buying a car based on the commission check that you're not going to get anymore. Yeah. So like, I think there's a balancing act for sure. Like when you sit in on the discoveries, David, do you ever hear something that you're like, I wouldn't have said that?
I mean, yeah, yes and no. I think like I'm in a little bit different of a situation because the two AEs that are running meetings, they're like pretty brand new, so they're kind of just learning a lot too. So I feel like I'm almost it's kind of cool because I'm learning with them, and then even after like the call, like when it's just me and them, they ask for my feedback. And I'm like, I'm not a closer, but like I'll just give you what I think, like human to human. So it's kind of a really cool experience. Like, yeah, I do see some of that stuff, but then I also see stuff too where I'm like, oh, like that's something like when I start selling, like I want to add that to, that line to my talk track or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to go back into the office, and like I love working from home. Like if you asked me to go back into the office, like I don't know if I could do it, but like when I was on the come up, like we used to barge each other's phone calls. So like you would see someone like over in like another section of the sales floor stand up, and that's when you would be like, oh shit, this call's going well. Like they would like push their desk to like stand up or whatever, and we would all barge. So you could see who was on, and we would and we'd put yourself on mute, and we would all listen. So like eventually it was like, not if you know you're good.
That sounds like an actual like straight out of Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing. Like that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yep. Yeah, I have "act as if" tattooed on my hand from Boiler Room. Like, act as if. No, I like that kind of like sales culture where it's like eventually like so right now at Foley I work with my good buddy Dave that I worked with and we brought our buddy Jeff over. We all worked with and we all came up under JP who was at Foley too and it's like, it's like the world's not that big and we all
Mm-hmm.
started saying the same thing. Like, yeah, sorry, Maddie, like I really wanted to move forward, but like I talked to my partner and like they don't want to move forward. I'm like, oh, so if you want to do something, but you go and you talk to your partner and they say no, you just don't do it. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well that's not a partnership. That's your boss. So can I talk to them? Like and like we would say shit like that and we all would start saying the same kind of thing. Um, it's like I like it. I like that it's like you can all kind of like test stuff together. Um, I think yeah, I do miss that a lot. And like you can listen to gong calls, but it's like, it's not the same.
It's different when it's live.
Yeah, yeah, and
I'll
you can
definitely
like
say.
feel
Oh,
it.
I was just gonna say that was definitely a very different environment the first time I went into the office in Hartford, and all the BDRs were there cold calling, and there's 15 of us all in this little section. I'm like looking around, you can hear everybody.
You can smell
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. I
For
mean,
better or for
there's
worse.
way more distractions when I was in the office, I felt, than when I'm at home, which is kind of weird to say, but it was just a different environment I wasn't used to. But it was really cool.
Yeah, working from home is
Maddie
it's
frozen?
it's good and it's bad.
She's
But
been frozen on my screen for about 5 minutes.
oh,
Oh, really?
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you were frozen for a little
Cool.
bit.
Sweet. Well,
I could still hear you, so I just
Yeah.
kept going.
well, that's what
Everything's fine. The show
matters.
must go
So
on.
hopefully I froze cute. I'll do a hotspot, David.
Dave, you want to answer that one?
answer a question.
Hey, bro, we're both taken. We both can't answer that. We'll have the viewers answer it.
How about that? Like, plays like that.
That would have been a good one. Oh wait, now she's frozen like that.
On my screen. She's frozen doing one of these.
Good.
For
Good,
me,
good,
it was a
good,
different
good.
finger.
Really?
All right, I'm gonna
That's funny.
hotspot. Talk about me behind my back. I'm gonna hotspot it.
Oh man, that's too funny.
That's so funny.
But Andrew, I wanted to ask you, when you were an independent contractor, you said you were BDRing? Were you cold calling as part of the BDRing, or what were you doing?
It wasn't really cold calling. It was all of like the cold outreach was via emails. Because it really depended on the day what I was going to do. Some day I was working on the product. Some days I was researching potential clients because we didn't have really any lead generation because they were so new. So it was kind of on me. And then I'd have sales meetings with one of our sales reps where I was kind of helping out with that. So I never had to cold call anybody. So it was really a culture shock, I guess is the best term, when I first started doing it and kind of trying to learn about that. And I think it definitely would have helped if I had some experience doing that. Because I thought, oh, cold calling, I'm just calling 100 different people. Like, they're going to tell you no 97 times a day. Like, you know what to expect. Yeah, exactly. Some days more. Like, you know what to expect. Like, if you get 2 yeses in a day, you did well.
Yeah, you're
Like,
a killer.
And it just wore on me after a while. But yeah, I never had any cold call experience prior to being a BDR, and I was going to get into how like I kind of switched to customer success and that whole story. I just don't know if Maddie's back yet. She's still pointing at me on the screen.
I think she's back on my end. I think
On my
she's
And Maya, the ghost of Maddie, back from the internet death. I mean, I just came in hearing you talk just about like the culture shock of cold calling. I feel like what no one tells you about cold calling is how few connects you get. Like, I think people talk a lot
Yes.
about like, oh, you're going to get yelled at, you're going to get hung up on, people aren't going to want to book a meeting with you. And it's like, you leave so fucking many voicemails. You know what I mean? Or like
Hmm.
like that. It's just like, oh my God, like fuck. Like, or like you have to call the same number to get different extensions. Like I didn't even have click to call when I was cold calling. Like I had to dial the one six four
You're
six
an
one
OG.
405 1602.
At least you
And
didn't have
it's
a
just
rotary phone, like whoop, wait,
I
whoop.
didn't. I did have one in my house growing up because but we didn't, I'm not that old. But yeah, no, it was like that. Like it was crazy. Like, yeah. So I think that's like what you don't really talk about. Like at least in success, like, you kind of had scheduled meetings more so. But yeah, I think also what I want to hear before you talk about the actual pivot, Andrew, is like psychologically, like we talked, I think maybe last time or the time before of like it's really hard to quit when you're successful. It's easy to quit when you're not doing a good job. But like quitting, actually saying like I'm like it's kind of what we were talking about at the beginning. Like I have a great life out here in Arizona. I have a beautiful house. I have great friends, but it's like I'm not happy and fulfilled. So I'm gonna bail out on something that from the outside looking in is like picture perfect. So it's like you're crushing it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So like what was that conversation like with you or with like your fiance? Like what did that decision look like?
It was it was between me, my fiance, my dad. It was exactly that. It was the battle of I'm doing well. At the time I was up for an AE promotion as well. Like I think I don't know if I would have gotten it because the two guys that did end up getting it have been very successful. I'm pretty sure both of them are still at Foley.
Was
Is
it Bill? Was it
Zabos?
Bill and Paoli?
Yeah, it was Bill and Paoli. So, like, me and AP came in at the same time, and we were always competing with each other back and forth, 1 and 2 every single month. And they're great guys. So I'm happy
Yeah.
everything's worked out for them. But I had actually submitted like my application for the AE position, and I was waking up every morning like sick to my stomach that I have to cold call people to the point where I didn't know what was wrong at one point. I had gone to doctors
Wow.
over and over again just because I was dry heaving in the morning. Some mornings I was throwing up just because even though I was doing well and I was still doing it, even though I felt horrible, it was just, I guess, I don't know if it was the anxiety of it or the stress of just, but it was really when I sat down with my dad that he was like, look, like, you're going to be working for the rest of your life, or at least the next 40 years, knock on wood. Maybe I hit the lottery or something and can retire early, but maybe one of these trading cards is worth $100,000 or something. But um, he's like, you have to do something. He didn't say love. He said that you at least like, and now is the time to jump around and test things out when you're young, because
Hmm.
5 years from now, you're going to be married, have kids, a dog, and it's going to be a lot harder to do it then than do it now. And that was kind of when I made my decision. Now I kind of dropped it on Chris without any warning, like a kind of like a bomb, but it was because
That's
he
what
was
anxiety
shocked.
does, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's some very similar thing happened to me where I just was every morning it was like my nervous system was trying anything it could to keep me in bed. And it's like that your nervous system knows how to put you down. So like
Oh
nausea
yeah.
is a big one, migraines are a big one, fainting. Like I've had like girlfriends that were so stressed when they were waiting tables that they would just fucking drop. And you're like, well, like, are you that hungover
wow.
right now, Kelly? Like, what's happening right now? Like our bodies are crazy. Like your body will just put you down, where it's like we
Yep.
can't do this anymore. Like the cortisol is too much. Um, so yeah, like my first job, my first sales job, I went in and everyone was so cutthroat. People got fired every Friday. Like it was crazy. And I told myself I need to make it to 2 years. Just make it to 2 years. Just make it to 2 years. On my 2 year anniversary, the next day I walked in and put in my 2 week notice, and I was expecting them to be like, all right, cool, like there's the door. And I was like so pleasantly surprised because they were like, "Oh my God, really? Like, well, if you want to stay, until you find something new, whatever." Like, it was so
Wow.
shocking that they were like nice to me about it. And I think I had built it up in my head of like, they all hate me. Like, they're gonna, it's like kind of when you want to break up with someone, you have to convince yourself to like hate them. It's like easier. Um, so I think, yeah, like it's just what I want to talk about too is just like the goodwill that you fostered from like not only doing a really good job, but being a good person. Like I can think of one person that I worked with actually with Dave and Jeff at Trustpilot, and he was a great seller and he just didn't want to do sales, and he put in his notice and JP was like, "Let's find another role for you." And he became a recruiter and he fucking crushed it. And I think he's like still crushing it in recruiting. So,
That's sick.
yeah, I think just if you're a good person, like they'll invite you back if you leave, if you want to come back, if you want to find something new. So like, did you just not think, Andrew, of like those options, or was it kind of like my story where it's like, well, I'm gonna quit and they're gonna tell me to get the fuck out? Like what was your thought process?
It was exactly your story. I thought I was going to put it, it wasn't even going to be let me finish my 2 weeks, because I know in sales that if somebody's checked out, they're probably not doing too much calling, and they know they're going to leave. And I had kind of assumed that it would be like, oh, like I tell Chris, and within the next 2 days, like I'm going to have an exit interview with HR. Um, and that's exactly what Chris told me. Like when I told him, he was shocked. He said that HR usually moves quick like these kind of things. He's like, until they do, like at least try to make an effort, like um at least try and like hit quota or something, like. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did. I was making a whole effort to still do my job, and even though if I remember correctly, I got like my stomach, and like it got better because I knew there was an out. I knew there was a light
Yeah.
at the end of the tunnel.
So crazy how fast that can happen. It's like I think someone once told me like canceling plans is like as close to heroin as I'll ever do drugs. Where you're just like, I really don't want to go. Like, or like I'm canceling the flight. Like, fuck it, I'll eat the money. I'm not going. I'm not going. So wait, how did you go from I'm quitting, okay, just like let me work for a little while, to actually let's find you a new home?
Well, it was so I Chris had said I was going to have a meeting with HR and they act quickly, so I was kind of waiting for that. And I think the day I put in my 2 week notice, I booked like 4 meetings too,
Of course.
Let's
which,
go.
Of course.
and the next day I think I booked another 3. And now at this point it's Wednesday and I'm waiting for it, and there's still no notification, nothing. And I get a message from Chris and he's like, "Hey, can you call me?" Or like, "Do you have a second?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "How would you feel about customer success?" I'm like, "I don't even know what it is." Like, I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie, I never actually put in your 2 week notice.
Not
I've been working on
surprised.
trying to
Good
find
guy.
somewhere else for you. Um, I did want to see like what would happen, like if you would actually keep trying and you're still booking meetings 2 days out after putting in your notice." So
Chris is the goat.
yeah, like I said, I owe so much to Chris because I didn't even really know what customer success was. Like I had helped their team out as an independent contractor, but I did some research on it and spoke with who did I? It was Alex Elias at the time. He was the director of CS, and spoke with Angela, who is another goat. She's one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever met in my entire life. But kind of learned about it, and I'm like, yeah, I think this might be a fit. And I was doing all of this while at the same time I was cold calling, which I also think helped because I was multitasking and it was keeping my mind off the fact that I was cold calling. But um,
What made you think that it would be a fit? Like when you say, yeah, like what made you think that it was worth a shot?
it was the building relationships part, because that's I mean, especially as a BDR, or even to an extent as an AE, like once you make the sale, you don't talk to the client nearly as much. Maybe a check-in, like, hey, how's everything going? Like, this still working out to expected, yada, yada, yada. But as a BDR, it's, okay, book the meeting. I'm never talking to you again other than making sure an hour beforehand that you're still good to go.
I feel like BDRing is like speed dating.
It
Being an
really
AE
is.
is like being a serial monogamist. And then success is like the marriage. Like I used to say that when I was a customer success manager, like this is a marriage. Like
Yeah.
we're in this together forever. Like we're gonna,
Better be
like
forever.
and it takes a special kind of person. Like my sweet spot is I love being an AE. I love forming a relationship for enough time. And then it's like, mwah, it's been fun. Remember me fondly. I'm moving on to the next guy. So yeah, I think just knowing yourself, and it sounds like a lot of that, Andrew, is like you were getting to know yourself too. Like maybe you didn't even know beforehand that you did want more of that long term, like care type of relationship.
100%.
Because like implementation's kind of like that too. Like once you onboard them, they're off. So it's not just sales where you're kind of just like you have this cycle.
But yeah, it's pretty much everything but CS. Like it's move them on to the next, move them on to the next, but there's no one to move them on to in CS unless they absolutely explode and move up to from large mid-market to enterprise, which I have had happen, but it's still a bittersweet day, even though it's a good thing.
Aw.
But I definitely highlight that. I still don't know what I want to do with my life. My grandfather says it all the time. He's 85 years old, and he's like, I still don't know what I want to do. Like,
That's awesome.
my plan was always to play hockey as long as I could. I knew my body was going to give out eventually because I had my first knee surgery before I was 20. So, and as a goalie, it's hard on your body, but I didn't know. I didn't go into college thinking I'm going to study this because I want to be this. I went into college going, I'm going to study this because I'm playing hockey.
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of goes back to what my dad said. Like, you don't know. Now's the time to kind of learn what you like and what you don't like. I think there's a lot of people that are in my position where they don't know what they want to do. They're in a place that they don't want to be or they're not happy at, and they're scared to make the jump because of all the unknowns. So
Yeah. My husband tells me all the time, like he's very analytical. It's kind of like yin and yang, and like I I get really nervous to make a wrong decision. Um, so I like worry plan and I try to like think of everything. So like his line to me for maybe the last like month or two is like, all right, so you're not super happy right now, right? There's 100% certainty that you are not happy. If we do something else, even if there's a 1% chance that you're going to be happy, you gotta take that chance. Like there's no work. Like maybe but then it's 100% and 100%, and you have a new experience. So it's like I just get like one of my biggest fears in life is like being seen as dumb. Like I'm so scared. We're just like, what a dumb fucking bitch. Like why'd you make what? What? Like you what? What are you doing?
it's funny because I second that.
It's just like my nightmare to be like, well, that was dumb. Mistakes are mistakes, but like a well thought out mistake is like my nightmare. A well researched fuck up. Yeah. So, but I think like a lot of what life is just try it and like know, and like we're all upper middle class white people in America. So it's like we have a safety net, it's like, okay, then go back to that job you quit. Move back to the town you moved away from. It's like we're not like crossing the tundra. So yeah, I think it's and life's like people say like, oh, like life's so short. It's like it's kind of long. Like I have to work for like a lot, like 50 more years. It's like a lot, you know what I
It's
mean?
a
Like
long ass time.
Yeah.
my mom is gonna die in her chair at the tutoring center. There is 100, she's gonna work until the day she dies. I know that for a fact.
My
Um,
mother's the same way.
you know, so it's like, yeah, like do it until you don't want to do it anymore, and then if you have the opportunity to do something different, give it a whirl. Like, do you think that you'll go and like try to look for like a different, like, obviously, you know, we're not all gonna die in our chairs at the companies that we're at, where this is not a company town, so I don't think this is a dirty subject, but like, do you think you'll go and like be a CSM for more money somewhere else? Or like what do you want to do next if you could pick?
If I could pick, but it can't because it's not up to me at all. There's somebody else that I would have to have a lot of conversations with. Oh, you're finally unfrozen. That's awesome.
Maddie, you were good for
Yay!
me the whole time. I'm sure it'll come out in the recording
Riverside will
fine.
figure it out.
But
It's fine.
Yeah, it always does.
what I mean, because after I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, I thought about it. I'd love to work in sports. I'm also a very analytical person. I think that part of sports, it's literally so cool to think like in hockey, oh, if you push McDavid left, he has a 27% less chance of scoring as if he goes to his right. Like those kind of things, those kind of statistics, I love that. I'd actually rather work in football, which I have no experience ever playing, which is funny. I just love football, but for
This
right
is
now
literally what
up
I'm
in New
doing right now because
Hampshire,
I'm so action oriented. I'm on Gemini. I'm gonna say, are there any companies that sell or build software in sports that are hiring customer success managers? And
That'd
then
be
let me
sick.
fix my typos. That sell or build software in sports that are hiring customers. Let's just see. Because like I tell people that a lot too. Like, yes, all right, here we go. Dedicated sports tech and management platforms. Companies like 360 Player, an all-in-one sports organization and club management platform. Fan engagement. So
That's pretty
manifest.
cool.
interesting.
Would
Because
you
we were
want to
talking
do
at the
something
beginning,
like
like I
that
never thought
again
I would
too?
be in DOT, and like I'm at the point now where I don't really care what I sell. I want to work with people that I like. Um,
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and you have to just figure out what you're optimizing for. Like there are some people, like what my best friend in the whole world, if she doesn't believe in the company and think that they're you know responsible and they care about the environment and like that's what she cares about. I feel like figuring out what you care about is huge. So like if you're like, okay, I just anything that has to do with sports, I just want to work with a bunch of people that also love sports.
Yeah, I mean, because I had always thought of it as in the lens of, I don't know why I never thought about like sports software, because the closest big professional team to me is in Boston, and that's an hour and a half away without Boston traffic. So I know they, with our new Boston office opening up, they've brought it up like, yeah, if you want to go into the office like once a week, you can. And I'm like, hour and a half
I might go
drive,
twice a year.
fighting
Maybe now if I
traffic,
move to New Jersey,
like
not. Maybe.
it's. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something I'd always like to do. I mean, right now, especially with where Foley's at, the thing I love the most is the team, the customer success team. I mean, they're all great people. Christie's unbelievable. Kinsey, who we've just recently hired, I actually got the pleasure of talking to her before she was actually hired because she wanted to talk to somebody, and she became my boss. She's awesome. It's just a whole great group of people, and I think there's a lot to be said for that because I have friends in companies that there aren't great people. I have friends at companies who they aren't the great people. So it's like I have friends that I would never want to work with a day in my life, and I would never recommend them, and I tell them that. So, but it's yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess, that I've always talked about moving back to Michigan eventually with my fiance. I don't think that would be for quite a long time. And I kind of always just push that off to then, but especially now with the wedding planning, and she's going to give me a dirty look off camera, but the way she likes to plan things, and I'm not much of a planner, I just kind of go with the flow. Yeah.
Well, that's, I mean, not to be super heteronormative and cisgender and all that, but like you're fine.
Yeah.
No one cares about you. Your mom's going to be really excited.
I completely no. That's what I said. I'm like, yeah, do what you want.
Like,
yep.
Yeah, don't give her your opinion on fucking forks.
But I want the bigger spoons.
COVID saved me because I did not want to plan a wedding. It's just not. I don't know why. It just was not my thing. And I got engaged and married during COVID, and we got to have a tent in my husband's parents' backyard.
That's sick.
And it was so sick. It was like, it worked out great. I just went to the liquor store and got a bunch of cans and threw them in the cooler with ice.
Perfect.
This was great. I think I spent more money on the tent than any other part of, because I was like, if it rains or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like, just zooming out to like life is like, a lot of what we're talking about is like moving to different places and changing your career and starting a different company and getting married and our parents getting older. And it's like, I feel like pick one big life event, let that happen, and then move on to something else.
Yeah.
So like, we're trying to talk about moving, and it's like the kind of line in the sand for us is when my daughter starts kindergarten. So we're like, once she starts kindergarten and she's going to be with these kids, like, I don't want to disrupt her. So it's like, the older you get, the kind of wider your time frame needs to be to look at stuff, So it's like, my husband has to get ankle surgery. So it's like, we're planning around the ankle surgery because it's like, I don't want to accidentally be like, oh shit, we're going to Disney, we forgot, and you're on crutches. It's like, you just don't, you got to kind of slow down and do one thing at a time. So yeah, sell a bunch of your cards, get married, and then you can pick your head up and think about.
Yeah, it's very, because she's actually adopted. She was adopted from China before she turned 1.
Wow.
So her parents, I mean, she's 26. Yes, I didn't get that wrong.
We just see an object.
Not two.
Yeah, yes, something come flying past my head. She's eating right. Oh, she's got her AirPods in. She can't hear me.
Nice. Saved by the pods.
But I was going to say, she's eating. She's got a steak knife. That could have been bad. But, no, her father's in his 80s. So it's like, I've always wanted to move back. I don't think we'll be in New Hampshire forever, but I could not live with myself if I took her away from them, and God forbid something happens. So
there you go.
So yeah, it's
like one of the
life.
I want to move home. It's
like exactly.
Any older or any younger? Sorry.
That'd be nice. If they weren't getting any younger.
No. I don't need a 17-year-old version of my mom. I don't need
that. Andrew,
yeah, it's
when you put in your 2 weeks at Foley, were you kind of thinking of other things that you were gonna do, or were you just like, I need to get the hell out of sales, I'm putting in my 2 weeks?
I didn't have a backup plan.
Wow.
So that was the scariest part, I think, was I had to try and figure something out, and my plan was, once my 2 weeks is up, or whenever they say, okay, you're free to go, was just basically spend the workday sending resumes and trying to find a job, and if I need to, DoorDash on the weekends and stuff like that. I mean,
gotta do what you gotta do.
It was, yeah, it's the no insurance part was scared my mom. So she was like, no, you can't do it because you won't have insurance. And I'm like, but yeah, I didn't really have a plan. It was just, I knew I had to do something. And like you said, or well, I guess your husband said, I knew it was a 100% chance I wasn't going to be happy, and there was a chance I was going to be if I did that. So that's what I did, and cross my lucky stars, it all worked out, and I'm still with Foley, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy now. But it was a stressful time and a lot of decisions, but because I
But like
mean,
also just one decision. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we like analysis paralysis is real.
yeah,
And it's like at the end of the day, like it's like I same thing with the move. Like I was like making it such a huge deal, and my husband was like, "What? There's like six things we have to think about total." You know, it's like we're very capable people, and I feel like I could argue both ways. Like David, I want to hear your opinion on this. Like, what do you like? It's super hard to quit with no safety net, but it's also really hard to like be 1 foot in, 1 foot out, especially in sales. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you kind of have to be on. So like like looking for another job while you have a quota is
It's a lot.
so hard. It's
It's
so
definitely
hard.
a lot.
You know, it's like, you know, yeah, it's like living two lives.
Yeah,
What do you
honestly,
think? That was my question.
you froze for a second, so I wasn't sure if I was
Oh, of
missing
course
a
I did.
piece.
Of course I did.
But yeah, I mean,
No, but like I
it's
just I
like
don't know if someone came to me for advice, you know, and they were like, "Hey, should I quit and look for another job full time, or should I look for a job while I have a job?" I feel like I would lean towards the second one, but like I don't know.
I think it totally depends. Like everyone is in different situations in their life. Like if you are living at home with your parents, you saved up some money, and you have a safety net, and you're really that miserable that it's making you like actually sick, like it was for you guys, then I would say, yeah, why not put in that 2 weeks? But if you're married, you're paying off debt, you have an apartment or a house you got to pay for, like you're gonna have to suck it up, buttercup, and
Yeah.
do the best you can in your sales job, and after work apply and in sales you're always prospecting, so you got to prospect for those jobs too if you want to get a good one, and live that double life and try to get something you like.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
definitely say too that I probably went about it the wrong way. I mean, it
Yeah,
it
but you
all
didn't want
worked
to give
out.
yourself ulcerative colitis and like have
Yeah.
like
That's true
permanent
too, but
like,
I
you know,
mean,
like
I knew for a while that this I wasn't happy and it wasn't going on, and or this was going on, but I still wasn't. I had looked for at other jobs, but it wasn't like Dave said, like, okay, like you got to prospect, you got to, if you want to find a good job, you're gonna have to put work in. It's not like fire up the computer and go, ooh, look at that, Microsoft's hiring for $225,000 a year, and they want me. Like that's not how it works.
yeah.
Like so, I definitely say I win. If I could, I probably should have had a backup plan before I did that, but it all worked out, so I can't really complain.
Shout
But
out Chris.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Chris is. Actually, I haven't talked to him in a bit. I got to give him a call, but he's such a good guy. So
Yeah.
I think so highly of him, and wish he was still with Foley, but he's on to other things.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He's doing well.
Yeah, it's great. And it's like, you know, that's kind of like how it all spirals out. You know, like no one stays at a company forever. You know, like you know, some of our customers, sure, you said, "Oh, you've been there for 27 years." Like, wow, you know, it's like kind of blue collar holler a little bit, but like for the most part, 2 to 5 years. You know, like my husband's been at his company for 10 years. It's like kind of unheard of.
Wow. Kudos.
You know, so I think it's, you know, you have to just trust that like you know, stay in touch with people, you know, and like if you do need something, like that's the thing. Like thinking, oh, I want to leave and then starting cold is hard. And again, like for me, analysis paralysis, I was so stressed about the idea of selling my house and like all this stuff. And it was like, so then just like reach out to one person and be like, do you know a real estate agent?
Hmm.
And then it's like just start one little conversation, and it like doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Like just start, and like I think that's it. It's really easy to build it up into something that's bigger than it has to be, and it's especially if you're a loyal person and if you're super successful in sales, you're usually pretty loyal. And it feels like you're cheating. You know, you're like, oh, I'm like talking to other companies, like, oh no, like how? Who? And so you almost feel like you have to quit to just let the guilt stop, so that you can focus on something else. You know? Yeah.
That's so funny you bring up loyalty because I feel like that was a big thing too. And my dad knows it. He's like, because he knows I'm loyal to a fault, even like Foley never wronged me. Like I felt bad trying to leave, even though I was literally showing up every day sick because of the job. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to be loyal because they gave me a shot, and it's such a weird and hard thing to kind of get over is
Yeah.
that loyalty.
Yeah.
And I mean, my dad's been with Ford for God, what, 26 years now or something
Wow.
like that. So it's
How
like,
did I say 27 before? That's crazy.
yeah, like my grandfather was with Ford for 50 something years. It's like, it was like all I knew was like, oh, you're at one company for like, it was kind of like, I didn't know too that was like kind of an option. Like, oh, this is normal. People do jump around. It hit me kind of hard in customer success when my clients started like, I'd call them like, hey, can I speak to so and so? And they're like, oh yeah, they quit. And I was like, what?
How dare they?
So, but loyalty is a funny thing.
And Andrew, how long after that conversation with Chris when he was like, "Oh, I actually never put it like moved forward your 2 week notice." Like, did you ever think about customer success? How long did it take for you to go like from that point to actually being in customer success?
Now that's the funny part because it was almost 2 months before I actually like transitioned. I think it was sometime in June I had let Chris know, and then it wasn't until August 1st I actually started as a customer success manager. So we had our in-person like BDR trip to the Connecticut office where I was still a BDR. Nobody had any idea except for Chris that I was gone or that I was going to CS. Like,
So wait, you cold called for 2 months after you quit?
That's crazy.
yeah.
Fuck, dude.
But for some reason, I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it kind of helped. And speaking of JP, he actually like sent me an email like as I moved into CS, like saying like, like I know you're doing something you don't want to do right now. Like this says a lot about you, the fact that you've hit quota in both months that after you literally put your 2 weeks in and were trying to quit. So it, it was it had to have been the light at the end of the tunnel because those next 2 months I felt so much better. I mean,
Did that make you second guess anything?
it did for a minute because then I started thinking about the AE position and I'm like, oh, that money would be
Our brains are
really,
such
really nice.
assholes.
But it was like at that point I had committed, and usually I don't like backing out of things, especially when someone gives me a chance like that. So yeah, there was a few moments of second guessing, but then I also kind of thought back to where I was at 2 months before that and how I felt without this light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
And do you think it was more was what do you think stressed you out more? Like just cold calling in general or having that quota hanging over your head every month?
I think it was both, and I think it was a culmination. The quota was I was so concerned with hitting quota. Now I hit quota in every month that I was a BDR. But I was so concerned with it to the point where I'm on a family vacation with my fiance and her parents up camping in Vermont on what is it? Lake Placid. Is it the other side of Lake
Champagne.
Placid, I think? Champagne, yes. And I'm sitting there texting Chris, did this person show up to the meeting? Did this person show up to the meeting? Because
I do that shit.
I wanted, I wanted to hit quota, and it was like, it was stressful because I'm my own biggest critic. I'm think of everything I could have done better. I replay conversations in my head, and replaying 150 calls a day. I mean, it's never 150 conversations, but
Still a lot.
yeah. And I think I think that was another point that you made, Maddie. Like, they don't prepare you for how many connects you actually get. There was one day, it was a Friday, and the 4th of July was on a Thursday. So this was after I had already quit. Nobody was working. It was like me and 2 other BDRs, and nobody else in the country was working. I made like 250 calls that day, and 2 people picked up the phone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that just wore on me, and knowing that every day is going to be the same. Whereas with CS, one thing I love about it is nothing's the same. No 2 days are going to be alike. One day you might be bombarded with emails because there's a technical glitch, or maybe you have client meetings with like your monthly check-in meetings where you get to talk to people you've built relationships with. I'm not going to name the client or the person just for reasons of keeping their identity private, but one of my clients, every time she calls me, she's got a new crazy story. She told me a story about how she broke her nose by accidentally flipping up the garbage can lid, like trying to get it through the house. She told me a story about how she started secretly putting Baileys in her mother's coffee in the morning, and now her mother's an alcoholic. Like, it's like, that's one thing that I could never get in sales, was like that relationship and continuing on. But so yeah, I think, just to get back to your question, I think it was like a combination of both. And with CS, there is no quota. There's either you're doing your job or you're not. I mean, if all your clients are leaving and complaining, and you're away for 7 hours a day on Teams, yeah, you're probably not doing your job. But if your customers are happy, and obviously nothing's ever going to go perfect, and your customers aren't leaving, then usually you're doing your job. So I definitely like that freedom more of not going, okay, I need 7 meetings to show up in this last week or else I'm not going to make it. Like,
Yeah.
But
Well, it's interesting you say that there's no quota, and like I'm gonna go be a mom in a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna leave you guys. But my transition to customer success was because I wanted to work at a company called Service Titan, where my husband still works, and he was there and he loved it, and I was like, I want to work there. And there were no AE roles available. I was an enterprise sales rep. I was closing $1 million deals. I was like, I could go sell anything, and they were like, well, we're not hiring. I was like, okay. So I was like, what about customer success? Because I assumed you have a retention quota and an expansion quota. So it's like, if your book of business is worth $2.5 million in annual recurring revenue, it better be worth that or more next year. And I was like, easy. It's like hunter farmer, whatever. And I got there and they were like, no, there's no numbers, no metrics, no nothing. I mean, they were like, hopefully no one cancels. But it was like, the product was still relatively new. People were canceling for reasons that were so out of your control as a success manager that it almost would have been unfair to have a retention quota. I think now, the company's been around for so much longer that makes more sense. And you can help people grow. Like you said, Andrew, earlier, that one of your customers went from being in mid-market and you grew them into enterprise. Like, that's a story you have for your, next interview, where it's like, I made someone so successful that they graduated. It's incredible. But I think, knowing when you're in an interview what type of success it is this a retention focus where I need to make sure no one cancels and grow? Do I have a book? Am I managing a book of business? Am I more customer service? Am I more technical? No one told me that I was going to have to use Excel Or they're like, oh, they're going to export their price book and you're going to just increase all my prices by 5% in this column. And I was like, what? I have like full blown panic attack. Like, I can't do this. So yeah, I think it's interesting too. Like, just if you're thinking of transitioning out of sales into like implementation is much more technical and
Mm-hmm.
like fast paced, whereas like success is more relationship and like let's just make sure everyone's happy and you're there for them and you're almost like more like a project manager. So I think like even just like read job descriptions would be my advice too. Is like if you're in a role at a company and you're not super happy, like just look at what the people are hiring for and hit someone up on Teams or Slack and just be like, hey, like what's a product manager? They
Oh,
talk to
absolutely.
customers. They talk to fucking customers. I can do that. And just like give it, and if you're a good person, like they'll give you a shot. Or they'll tell you, take this course and then come back to me in a quarter from now. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times people are scared, like you and I. We're like, I can't do this anymore, so I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna disappear. It's like I was never even here. And
Just
they're
like,
like, no, like let's find somewhere else for you to work.
yeah, absolutely. And I think especially with customer success is a lot of companies have a different definition of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, I know some positions handle the renewals, some don't. Some handle upsells, some don't. Like I don't have to handle upsells. That's Jen Callahan's job. Jen is awesome. I'm assuming you guys have had conversations with Jen, but she
She's
is
amazing.
one of my favorite people ever. And we constantly talk about hockey, but like some companies do have you do that. Some now retention, obviously churn and NRR are like kept track of, and you don't want them to be negative. Like you don't want to lose clients, you don't want your NRR to drop, but some companies are very strict about it. So it's really, especially if you are looking to get into CS, you gotta ask those questions. Some expect you to be on call 24/7 because they have international clients. Like that was
That's
one
crazy.
thing I didn't want. So some expect you to travel for on-sites like
Yep.
across the country, and I don't want a job where I have to travel constantly and be away from my fiance. Like that's you got to ask those questions. So it's thankfully Foley has not had those situations, and I think it was the perfect spot, perfect situation, perfect timing for me. But
Good things happen to good people.
this is true. So if you work hard and you're doing well, you never know. Like, or if you find another job and then you tell your boss, like, hey, I'm taking this other job, sometimes they'll come back with more money to keep you. Like,
This is true.
you never know. So,
Yeah, or you can come back. Like, there's so many people that left Service Titan, I know for a fact, and came back. Like boomerang, call them a and it's just like that that's good culture when people want to come back, and it's like I know that like if I was like, hey, I want to go start my own business or like whatever, like when I went on maternity leave and I got really bad postpartum depression, and I was like, I quit, I can't work, and I was like I could just always go back, you know. So yeah, I think we've talked about that a lot. Just you know, work hard, be nice to people. It'll probably work out. I'm gonna let you guys keep talking. I'm gonna go do my favorite job in the world that I don't get paid for. Um, Apparently, there's a please pray for me. My daughter is very into superheroes right now, and I have to be Hulk, and she says Herc. So I'm pretty sure there's an
that's awesome.
actual Hulk costume downstairs. I thought the hands would be enough, the
Hopefully,
Hulk smash hands, but she's
I
like,
was
no,
gonna
you gotta
say,
be
hopefully you got
green.
the Hulk hands too.
Oh yeah, I
You
gotta be
didn't
green.
want to wear him on the
So
podcast?
I should have. Okay,
Yes, let's go. That'll go
Hulk
viral on
smash.
TikTok.
That's awesome.
See you,
Thank you.
Maddie. Have
Bye.
fun. So yeah, I guess Another question I want to ask you is what uh what advice would you have for maybe a BDR who is somewhat like you, like killing their quota, but just can't stand having just can't stand having a quota anymore? Like, what kind of BDR would enjoy customer success, and what advice would you have for them, like to make those steps to get into customer success?
Yeah, it's the type of person that you kind of people that don't enjoy quotas that are good at sales are usually very good at talking to people. Um, that's kind of always been one of my strengths, I'd say, is I can relate to all sorts of different types of people. I mean, playing hockey, I didn't have your prototypical hockey personality. All my friends from hockey will tell you that they're the jock type that hockey's my life. This is all I care about. We're watching sports. Like, I like that stuff, but I'm also a nerd. Like, I like collecting and selling trading cards. I like all the Marvel movies. I've seen every single one in chronological order. Like, and I'm very open about that. Like, so I had to learn to adapt and get along with tons of different people from a young age, being on all these different hockey teams. Like, if you're good at talking to any type of personality, having a conversation, and actually being able to hold it without saying, "Oh my God, this is so stupid," or "Why am I talking to this person?" Because I think that's the best type of person for it. Because in CS, you have to be that way. I mean, what works for one client won't work for another. Like, there's always going to be clients that just, for whatever reason, your personalities just don't match up, and they can be moved to another CSM. That does happen, but there's clients I talk to like they're one of my friends, and I know I can't do that with other clients. So
Yeah.
you have to learn that very quickly. But if you can't stand a quota, I mean, obviously if your company culture is good, but talk to your manager, don't do what I did and just put in your 2 weeks. Like, don't just
Hey, it worked.
blindly. It did work, but I mean, some people have also bought a lottery ticket with their last dollar and then hit the lottery. So it's
This is
it's
true.
not, yeah, it wasn't, what I did wasn't the right way to go about it, just because I didn't know. Like, if I had to go back, I would change it. But talk to your manager, see what else is available, especially if you're killing your quota. They're gonna try and do something to keep you. They're gonna want to keep you. They're gonna make you happy. So that would be my advice: is or find someone in CS and talk to them about it, learn about the position and all the different little nuances, because I spent 2 weeks researching it. And when I finally talked to Christy, who's our new director, I had all these different questions because I had seen ones that, like I said, you had to be on call 24/7 and all this different stuff. So just have conversations. If you're a good person, they're not going to be mad at you for having conversations. So
And what advice would you give to someone to keep if they are in a company that judges their retention rate harshly? Like, what's advice you would have for them to keep their retention rate up?
be very diligent. The biggest thing is, depending on your book of business size, mine's very large. We're working on bringing it down because it was by far the largest in the company,
Yeah.
and it just kind of naturally happened. It was an accident. It was not supposed to grow to be that big, but people were either leaving and the accounts needed help, and they just gradually became mine. But if you're responsive and you're being proactive, you don't need to be entirely organized. I'm not a very organized person, as you can see by my apartment. Um, I never have been, but if you're responsive and helping with their issues and they know that, they're not going to leave because of something that you've done. There's always going to be things you can't control, like, oh, this company was bought by somebody else, they have a new software, they won't even talk to us. Like, that happens. It's the nature of business. But just being responsive and being a person that they can count on speaks volumes. And I'd also say don't be a corporate robot. A lot of people, most people that you talk to, most of your clients, they're people. They don't want corporate lingo. They don't want this corporate speak. I'll circle back with you on that. Like, I completely understand it, but at the end of the day, you just talk to them like they're people and get to know them, understand what they actually want. Because every client, even at Foley, some use us to manage their DQ files and that's it. Some use us for drug testing and that's it. Some need to reduce their compliance risk by 25%. Like, having a good understanding of all your customers and just being responsive will take you a long way in the CS position.
And what is like I know you said there's kind of no typical day, but are you basically just like do people like email you and put time on your calendar and you're kind of just responding to them, or is there part of the job too, like being proactive to things and reaching out to clients?
Yeah, a lot of it is proactive. Right now with Foley, we're moving to be more proactive just because we didn't have the tools to be that proactive. Some of our customer success managers have their calendar scheduled out from the minute they open their laptop to the minute they close it. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Some people have an hour block to respond to emails. Some have an hour block to make phone calls. I keep my calendar open, and at the end of each day, I kind of go through everything that's still open, like every customer I've talked to that day, every tech issue, every case that I have sitting in for another team, just so I know all my ducks are in a row going into the next day. And yeah, people can schedule meetings through my email. They can call straight to my dial pad. I'll reach out to clients. I'll be proactively checking their accounts to see if there's something I noticed that maybe they didn't yet. Every once in a while, like, they have a bill that hasn't been paid, and then all of a sudden finance is reaching out to me like, we're going to cancel them because they haven't paid their bill, and they have no idea they even have a bill. So it's like, but yeah, it's every day's a little bit different just because it could be from 9 to 5, you're in meetings with your clients every single day or every single hour. It could be your phone's just ringing off the hook that day because everybody's trying to drug test somebody on the same exact day and they can't find a site. Or some days it's slower and you're doing more proactive stuff, trying to make sure that all your clients their accounts are healthy, they're happy. Because if you can catch things before they notice them, it's going to go over 15 times better than it does if they notice an issue and they bring it up to you. Because that compounds really quick when there's multiple issues they find within a week. They're like, what are we paying you all this money for? Like, it's so that's the fun part of it to me, is that, and then problem solving too. Just because I'm not a software engineer. I don't know coding. I can't go. They can't tell me, hey, this isn't working, and me go magically, oh, I just updated the code, it works now. Like, I have to take that to other people, and have them fix it, but then try and find a workaround while they're fixing it, which is a challenge, but it's fun to me. So if you have like a problem-solving mind, and you like helping people, building relationships, it's the perfect position.
Wow, that's awesome. And would you ever you talked earlier about how some customer success jobs have renewals or upsells. I would imagine those would come with a quota. Would you ever consider doing those like kinds of CS jobs, or are you just like I never want a quota again?
There was talk at one point that they were going to put upsells on our plate. I know that I think that was a year ago, and they never did. On top, it would really have to depend on the book of business size, because with my book of business size right now, if they were to throw a quota on top of me, I think my head would explode. It's if it was a smaller book of business, then yeah, I'd consider it, but it'd be. I'm trying to think how that would work, because if you only have 40 clients and they're giving you an upsell quota every single month, eventually there's going to be nothing left to upsell. But
Yeah,
it's
if you're really
so
good,
yeah,
why would you
exactly.
bother?
Exactly. So I'd consider it for the right situation, but for a large scale role, which is I think what it would have to be, probably not. Unless it was like, okay, once a month you need one upsell, it's not a dollar amount. So, because if there's a dollar amount, that's a little bit different. But
And for you to kind of maybe pivot a little bit back to the BDR before we wrap this up, what do you think hockey players or something you took maybe just from having a career in hockey, like do you feel like that shaped you for being a top performer as a BDR?
100%, it's a lot of the skills that I have throughout my life or that I've kind of gained have come from hockey. Um, School came easy to me. For whatever reason, in college, I would purposely not study for tests just to prove to myself that I could do better than everybody else without studying. Like but hockey it was very challenging when I was younger. I was a goalie. I'm 5'9", 5'10", but I'm very undersized for the position, so I would have teams cut me that basically said like, "Oh, you're the best goalie in tryouts, but we're going with the kid that's taller because he's got more potential because he's taller." And it's like, I was the best goalie, but I just got cut because I'm small, something I can't even control, and it kind of just taught me to try and outwork everyone. And I've always wanted to be the best at everything I do. My dad always tells stories of when I was a kid, for some reason I had this ungodly confidence that I was better at everyone or anything than everyone. Obviously that's not true, but as a kid I apparently believed it, but they had, and that competition, because sales is very competitive, like me and AP were battling back and forth every single month for who's going to hit quota first, who's going to have the most meetings, who's making the most calls that day. It definitely helped me because sales is a numbers game too. It's a volume game. The
Oh
more
yeah,
people you have on the phone, the more chances you're going to have to sell something or book a meeting. So
facts.
it's just that hockey definitely taught me that work ethic that I had. Even in college, my first 2 years, I played one game. I was a third string goalie. My junior year, I finally got a shot, and it wasn't like, there was two ways to handle it. There was me and another kid that weren't playing. I was on the ice every single day at 6 a.m. with our captain, getting practice, on the ice before practice, whenever I had free time. And the other kid was at home drinking 30 beers a night. So it was,
Easy choice.
yeah, I mean, it just taught me that if you work for something, there's a good chance you're gonna attain it and just never give up.
Yeah, I love that. I think it sounds like, and I'm also, I was an undersized hockey player too. I'm only 5'4", so I totally get, being cut from teams or overlooked, bigger, like versus bigger people. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like it helps so much, like that past helps so much as a BDR because, getting rejected from a team, or like you said, you got kind of like scratched most of your, freshman and sophomore years. That's such a long process to stay gritty for and like, finally come out on top at the end. Whereas a BDR, I feel like most people, a few people say no to them and they're frustrated. Where it's like for us, that's easy. Like, dude, just make another phone call. I'll
Yeah.
make 100 more phone calls than the other person, and I'll get more people on the phone, and I'll like hit better numbers. So it's definitely like that makes so much sense that you said that. It's like it like being a hockey player, especially undersized. I feel like is so much harder than being a BDR. That when you get to being a BDR, it's almost easy, or quote unquote easy.
Yeah,
Obviously,
easy.
like it's still
Yeah.
hard, but getting hung up on and told to f off is still hard. But just make another call. That's the best way to get over a bad call. Make another call.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let it bother you. And so, if someone's never dealt with rejection going into the BDR role, it's probably not the right position for you, just because that's really all it is. It's most of it. I mean, it's
Rejection management.
97 to 99% rejection. Unless you're really, really good at it, then it's 95 or something like
Yeah,
that. So
like
it's,
even if you had Jordan Belfort on the phones, he's still getting like more no's than yeses.
yeah, I mean, and I kind of thought about it this way too, is because the rejection part, it does start to get tough, especially if you have a bad week or you have a couple straight days where you just can't get anything going and you're like, am I doing something wrong? You start evaluating everything. I think about like if someone cold calls me, they're getting 2 words out before I'm hanging up. So like I'm already doing better than someone would trying to cold call me. Like it's it really is just such a difficult position, such a grind, and it does test you. It's I'm proud of myself that I did it for as long as I did and did it that well, but I know some people that have done it for. I have one buddy who's been a BDR for 3 years, and I don't know how in the world he does it.
Yeah, I'm coming up on that year mark, and I can't wait to not be a BDR.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm sure a lot of people will find value out of your story and knowing other options adjacent to sales. Guys, if you found any value out of today, please like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below. Andrew, do you have any closing thoughts?
If you're in a don't be afraid to take a jump. If you're in a spot where you know you're not happy, take the jump, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. Don't I'm not going to say don't think, just go, but make that jump. Don't be afraid to make the jump. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast. Um, I wish I could have done it when we were supposed to do it, or record what we're supposed to, but it is what it is. Yeah, no, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And
Of course, we got to have
Chris,
you on again in the
Chris,
future.
yeah, for sure. If you ever need a guest speaker for anything or for some reason to talk about anything, whatever it is, I'm your man.
Love it. Thank you so much, Andrew, and have a good night, everyone.